Would you like to have an insider's guide to ChatGPT's most essential settings? Then this video is for you. Hi, I'm Chantal and welcome back to AI for 50 Plus. Today I'll walk you through the essential settings for ChatGPT that could actually completely change the quality of the answer you will get. If you've ever been unsure about using ChatGPT's full potential, you're in the right place. I would say the settings and the way you ask the question are two very important factors if you want great quality answers. Today we'll talk about the settings, and in a future video I will go more into details into the prompting itself. So let's go to my computer and I'll show you exactly the setup that I recommend. Here we are. So let's go to my ChatGPT. So the first thing that I want to mention is there are 5 different plans. You'll see here free, plus, pro, and you also have business and enterprise. So look at, so of course free is free. The plus level is $20 a month US, and the pro is $200 a month. I have the pro version, and I just wanted to talk to you about the difference between the two, but know that free is very powerful. So I would recommend you start with free, and then if you see that you use it a lot like I do, you can go to pro if that's affordable. So the difference is that basically access to the latest model, GPT-5 at the time that I'm filming this. And I'm looking at my notes here, and in the free model, you can do 10 messages in 5 hours versus 160 for the pro, for the plus in 3 hours. So if you work a lot with ChatGPT, for example, I've been using ChatGPT to prepare for my YouTube channel. I've been using it for a few hours, and free would just not cut it. So I would say that's the biggest downside for me. You also have, what is missing actually is, apart from that, the standard and advanced voice mode with video, access to the ChatGPT agent, create custom GPTs, which is really useful, and we will talk about this in another video probably. Limited access to Sora video generation. Sora is not great right now, so I'm not sure it's a con not to have it. You access to research review in the Codex agent. I'm not using that now, but I will look into it. So I would say that it's just the limit in terms of the number of messages that is really important here. So that's the first thing. I would say start with free and go to pro at some point. I think it's really worth it, but free is really good as well. The second thing that I want to talk to you about before we go into the settings is the web versus the app. So I would strongly recommend to go to the web application for a number of reasons. So let's go to the web application here. I will move this so that we can see what's happening. So there are 3 big things, and they're fairly big in my mind, that would justify going on the web and not on the application. So on the web, let's go to one of my questions here, iPhone comparison table. I would like to actually buy an iPhone soon. And the first big difference is those 3 dots here on the top. So if you click here, you can add this to project, and I will talk to you a bit more today about what is the project to set it up. But it's really, really worthwhile, really important. Edit schedule. If you ask ChatGPT for a task, you can edit it there. For example, in this one, I mentioned, well, let me know in those few stores in Canada, when can I pick up the new iPhone 17, for example. So you can do it here. The second one is when you go at the bottom of an answer here. So this is an answer from ChatGPT. You have a number of things that you can do here, but in the web version, you have those 3 dots. And it allows you to read aloud, but more importantly, branch in a new chat. And that's really also important because in your discussions, depending on what you're talking about, in your discussions, you might be doing some work and then there's something that you want to explore further, but you don't want to have it into the same chat because you want to continue the flow in that chat. So you can click there, start a new chat, and then you have two separate chats that will appear on the side here. So that's another one that you don't have. I won't go maybe just to prove it to you. Here we go. If I go in the answer, you'll see it's not there. So that's another one that for me is really important. And I would say the last one, which is huge to me, is when you do the plus in the web version, you have add photo and files, add from Google Drive, which you have in the app in a different format. But all of these things here and in the more, that's not in the app format. So for example, Canvas, which is super interesting. It's a document within the chat that you cannot actually edit yourself instead of explaining to ChatGPT what you want to do with the change. So that's crucial as well. I will, in another video, talk to you a bit more about Canvas, but it's really a functionality that is important. So those three things are only in the web, are not in the app, so I would recommend the web. The only thing that you have in the app that you don't have in the web version is this dot here that is the recording. So let me show you here. I will go, I believe it's here. So what that does, ChatGPT record, it's only in Plus, actually, it's not in the free, and it's only in the app itself. And ChatGPT can transcribe, summarize audio recordings like meetings, brainstorms, voice notes. So I still have the app because sometimes I want to go more into a voice mode and I want either I want to brainstorm or I want to do a brain dump. So I want to talk about a number of different ideas. It's much faster for me because I'm not a quick, I type with like 6 fingers and a half maybe. So often it's better voice and I like to record it and then I can organize it. So what I would do is I would use the record in the app, I would work on it, and then it is in my chat anyways on the web version if I want to put it in Canvas or in a project or do something else. So that's the difference between basically app and web. And I think web is the way to go. In terms of the settings now, you go, it's very simple. You go to what you need to know. You go to your picture at the bottom here, and you can, the best is to go into settings, and that's what we'll do. You can also customize ChatGPT, but that's within the settings anyways, and it's just one little aspect of it. It's an important one, but I would rather walk you through all of these settings. So the settings in the general one, I chose my color. I like to do that. Green, the language is there. What is important in this page is really to click on show additional models, because when you go up here, you will see this, but if you click it, you see the other models as well that are maybe faster in certain cases, use less tokens. So it's good to have. So I always check it. Going back to the settings, I will go then to personalization. Personalization will go to the custom instructions. So you know when I mentioned customizing that you had in the first menu, that's where you would go. But I will first talk about memory, and it's for me, I like having those clicked on because I like having ChatGPT knowing about certain things about me if I ask questions, about for recipes, or if I ask about some health or exercise plan. So I really like that. You can manage the memories by clicking here, and then you see what it kept as saved memories, and you can remove some if they're no longer relevant. So there's no downside really. And as I mentioned in the previous video about ChatGPT in general and general uses, you can always click here to turn on the temporary chat. And what that does is that for that specific chat, there will be no memory. So the danger, though, is that it will not appear in your chats on the side here. But if you want to do just a quick chat and you don't want, it's something that you're doing for a friend or whatever, and you don't want to keep it, you would go in the temporary chat. Back to the settings, and I was at personalization. The other thing that is important in there, no, it's right here. So we go into the custom instructions. Before we go into the details, enable for new chats, really important. And the other thing that I want to show you before we go into the content of this, which is really the bulk of the personalization, you click on advanced and you scroll and you put all of these on, because if not, you will have only the chat box or the chat, but you won't have web search, you won't have canvas, voice, code. So that's really good as well. So you enable the new chat for new chats and also these. And then you go into how you can customize it so that it knows how to speak to you. So what is really interesting is that you can have different personalities. So, and how should they call you? So I want him to call me Chantal. What do I do? What did I do? My last job. You can also put much more in there, but I've just put briefly what I did. And you can choose a personality. I prefer default for that one, and then putting the traits myself instead of choosing cynic, robot, listener, or nerd. Although I do like nerd, exploratory and enthusiastic. I really like that. Or if it's a down day, thoughtful and supportive, that's really great. But in general, I prefer default because I have a lot of uses where it's fact-oriented or there are sources, and I don't want it to become overly supportive. I want it to be a bit more factual. So I'll show you what I put in terms of the traits. You can put much more than that, much less, but just to give you ideas. So be friendly and encouraging. I like that. I am friendly, so I don't want someone who's, a bitch or a jerk, but factual, because I've noticed that sometimes it goes overboard in terms of encouragement. Avoid positivity bias, so don't agree with everything that I'm saying. Ground your response in sources, especially meta research, not just single research if possible. And don't sugarcoat. I don't want Pollyanna, but a witty and caring critical friend. So this is the persona that I want and the tone. I've added a couple of things. When a long explanation is required, give me a long explanation. Don't start cutting things without me telling you what I want. So give me long. If it's really short and concise, and a concise answer will do. No, sorry. If a really short and concise answer will do, I'd prefer that. If I ever ask for ideas, so this one is more for YouTube channel because I don't want to repeat every time. I could do it when you will see it in project. I could actually put what I want in a document, a file that I could use, and that's what I'll probably do. But for now, I've put it there. If I ever ask for ideas for YouTube titles, be sure to suggest only titles that are 50 characters or less. If I ask for keywords, limit them to less than 500 characters. For tags, less than 300 characters. Remember that I live in Mexico and that I like DD, month, year as my date format. I like it because then it's clear what's the month and what's the day. When you DALL-E or GPTs, so DALL-E is the image generation arm of ChatGPT, sorry, or GPTs, because there are some separate GPTs that you can create yourselves or that other people create that you can use. When they generate an image, always indicate the gen ID of the image with your image in your response. The reason why I put that was that when I created a children's book for my eldest granddaughter, I was trying to have a character that looked like her, but Pixar style, and it kept changing. And that's one of the things that is very difficult for any of these models, is that your character actually changes, doesn't look like, even though it's supposed to, it doesn't look like the same character. So it's much better now in different other generation AI. But for ChatGPT, I really wanted the idea so that I would actually say, okay, so based on this ID, a Gen ID number, and it's a long number, I would copy and paste it there and say, keep exactly the same character, but now I would want her to sit on a bench in a park. So that was really helpful. And then a bit of my rant that I have, or my soapbox. Don't assume that people over 50 are over the hill. I hate ageism and sexism for that matter. So because when I was doing some research for using ChatGPT for my channel and videos and what could I, it was always coming up with things for 80 and over. And I said, look, it's 50 and over. And yes, 80 is part of that. And a segment of my videos might be addressed specifically to them, but in general, 50-year-old, they're working, so they don't want to hear about home care or so I had to specify. Don't assume. 50 is the new 30, so that's the most important part here. Anything else ChatGPT should know about you? So I talked about when I was born and my relationships, which is a really important part, and the people around me, the languages that I speak, and what I love. So, and basically, you don't forget to click save here. I can't because it's already saved. But that, I would say, is probably one of the most important part of the customization is the traits part here. So this whole customize is fairly important, especially the format and how you want it to respond. So that's the personalization. And then a couple of last things, the connectors. The connectors are really interesting and it's easy to set up. So I've set up Canva, which is a software that helps you prepare some visual, I would say, documents. Like if you want a thumbnail for a YouTube channel, or if you want the banner of your channel, or when I used to also do some books. So to do the covers, you can use Canva. So it's linked to it so that if I work on something here, for example, on a YouTube video, and I want to use the information that I have here to kind of help direct what I'm going to do in Canva when I will design the thumbnail, for example, it's already connected there. I also have my Gmail in there and my Google Drive for my documents and my sheets. But there's a lot more that you can do. So what you do is simply click on it, connect, and then it will bring you to the software itself, and the software will ask you to give the permission. So it's very, very, very simple. Very interesting to have as well. I want to bring you then to the data controls before we get out of the settings. And the data controls is more for privacy. So unfortunately, there's not much privacy in ChatGPT. I'm not sure about the others because I haven't checked, but in ChatGPT, there is a lawsuit pending, and because of that lawsuit, ChatGPT has to keep records of all of the chats until they are instructed to get rid of them. So I think their intention was to get rid of them at some point, but for now, they can't do that. So you can do certain things to protect yourself a bit. I've clicked off here, improve the model for everyone, because I don't want my content to be used to train the models. So that's one simple thing that you can do. About archived chats as well, you can manage. So I had a discussion, a chat with ChatGPT recently about the desktop versus app and how it compares. So I don't need it anymore, so I archived it, and you can remove them if you don't want to keep them. So that's fairly simple. Now, what you can do also at some point is that you can export all of your chats and the data. Then you can delete everything, and then you can close the account. So I would do it in that sequence if you want to no longer have an account with ChatGPT. And finally, just one quick note on projects, which is fairly new. So on the side here, you have your chats at the bottom, and then above it, you have the projects. So you can create a new project very easily. You just click here, you give it a name, and then you create it. So I will show you one that I've created recently. So it's called, so I'm going to close it. So it would appear here. No, yeah, actually it opened. So for my videos, what I do is I start a new chat for each of the videos. For the first few, actually, they're here. There's my third video was here, and my first and second are here. And then you can create a Canvas document in there with all the information. Been working on the title, for example, on the keywords, working on the thumbnail, what should be the text on the thumbnail. So I will make a video at some point about how I use ChatGPT to help me create these videos. And I also put a file. You can put as many files as you want, but I've put a file because I've created a workflow with ChatGPT before embarking in all of this, and to look at what are the different steps when you create a video. So there's the ideation, and then there's the concept, and then you go into the metadata, which is, okay, we look at the title and the tags and the keywords, the description of the video, the thumbnail, and then we go into the scripting and the filming. So I've created this workflow that I will share with you in a future video. So that's it. These are the settings that I would recommend that you look at and maybe choose the ones that are relevant for you. And that should help you get better answers from ChatGPT. Now, the next step is to really write better questions, and that's a discussion for another day. If you liked the video, please click the little like icon and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next week with another video about AI.